Hello, this is Wendy Bialis Odell, the Director of Curriculum, Instruction, and Educational Standards. I am here with Chris Rouleau, Coordinator of Curriculum, to provide you with an overview of work that has been completed this spring and what you can expect for next school year with regard to standards-based instruction and grading and support for teaching and learning. In this presentation, I will share information about the restructuring of support that will be provided to all teachers through the Curriculum, Instruction, and Educational Standards Department beginning next school year. I will also highlight changes that were made to the 2013-14 standards-based grading benchmarks based on feedback received from teachers. Finally, Chris and I will share information about the recent grade level meetings we conducted and the action plans to address many of the concerns teachers have expressed. You will learn what you can expect for next year with regard to new instructional materials and program changes. As you may know, the curriculum department will be restructured next year to better reflect the needs expressed by teachers and the nature of our integrated approach to providing support for standards-based instruction. Historically, our department has been structured around specific curriculum areas. Beginning next year, our structure will be aligned by level, elementary, and secondary. We no longer will have subject area curriculum specialists. Rather, we will have 8 staff development assessment specialists serving the needs of our sites. After budget reductions, we had budget capacity for 6 positions, and our plan was to have 3 positions assigned to elementary sites and 3 assigned to secondary sites. However, thanks to additional funding from Student Services, 2 additional positions were secured, and the curriculum department was able to hire 8 staff development assessment specialists, 4 for elementary and 4 for secondary. The staff development assessment specialist and the curriculum specialist positions are different. Our current positions serve all K-12 teachers in 1 or more content areas. The new staff development assessment specialists will be clustered around grade bands and assigned to specific sites, where they will support all teachers in all content areas. Their work will be focused on supporting teachers in implementing the curriculum, use of research-based instructional strategies, and assessment development. The specialists will work with each site's principal and staff development team to determine a staff development plan for the school year that aligns site and system staff development priorities. We know the needs of sites and departments vary. We believe that by assigning specialists to sites, we will be able to differentiate professional development in a manner that is meaningful to teachers. And by working collaboratively, the specialists will help share resources and effective instructional practices across content areas and schools. Please be assured that the program improvement process and the content-specific work will continue. Teacher leadership has historically been essential to the success of program improvement and will continue to play an important role. You can expect to see your site's staff development assessment specialist in your building on a regular basis. Our elementary specialists next year will be Robin Gonzalez, Shelley Drake, Tammy Provart, and Sarah Luby Morris. We look forward to working with you in our new structure. The second topic I want to share with you is around the standards-based grading benchmarks. On March 22nd, I sent to you a copy of the revised benchmarks for the 2013-14 school year, along with the standards-based grading continuous improvement plan. I would like to take just a few minutes to review the benchmark information with you. As you know, we have been working with a 3-year implementation plan for standards-based grading. However, based on teacher feedback, we made an adjustment to the 3-year implementation plan and added a 4th year. You will see in the newly revised benchmark document that next year, 2013-14, we will continue to work on current benchmarks without adding any new benchmarks. The specific benchmarks we will continue to work on include academic misconduct, assessments, formative feedback, multiple opportunities, and the 0 to 4 scale. This benchmark specifically relates to grading at the secondary level. We know, however, that through our assessment work, we will address concerns about better defining the elementary 1 through 4 scale as well. All of these benchmarks are highlighted in yellow on the benchmark document. There have also been some language changes to provide greater clarity, and those changes were highlighted in green. The third topic to discuss is feedback from the recent grade level meetings and the action plans to address many of the concerns teachers have expressed. We held meetings with teachers at each grade level, with attendees representing most sites at each meeting. Teachers expressed their needs in the areas of instructional materials, assessments, and other areas such as the desired report card revisions. In the meetings, we heard common themes across all grade levels. Teachers told us that our K-6 report cards need to be revised. Our assessments need to be revised or created. We need to check them for quality and align them across content areas as much as we can. Teachers expressed a desire to have all the assessments more aligned with our instructional materials, and to make it all make sense and be manageable. We know that we have some gaps in instructional materials that need to be addressed, and we heard from every level that a clear scope and sequence for reading language arts is needed. We know that for elementary teachers, the curriculum cycle is in constant motion. As the state changes standards and we learn more about our learners and how to better differentiate instruction, we need to make changes, and those changes may not always align with the 7-year curriculum cycle. We are committed to responding to student needs and at the same time doing it in a way that is supportive of teachers. To that end, in the next several slides, Chris Rouleau will share specifics for your grade level about what you can expect for next year with regard to instructional materials, assessment development, and other curriculum needs.
Hello, specialist teachers. This is Chris Rouleau, and I'm here to provide an overview of some information that you may find helpful as you work with your colleagues who teach grades K through 6. First of all, a little disclaimer, I'm rather squeaky. I have been fighting this for 5 weeks, and I was really hoping that it would be done by the time I made the screencasts. But alas, it is not. And it is Thursday night, and I waited until the last minute. And here I am. It's almost as good as having me live. You get my squeaking, my coughing, even my water drinking along the way. As you just heard from Wendy, the grade level meetings that we recently held resulted in some common themes. The second half of the presentation that every grade level will hear is specific to their grade level needs and changes, things teachers can expect for next year. Each of those screencasts will be on our new CIES website, and I will have the information has been in the Wednesday envelope, the link to it, and I will send that out again. But those will all be there for you to reference if you want more information about what's going on in each grade level, particularly if you're a special ed teacher or an EL teacher or GE teacher, and you want to think about ways that you can support what's happening in classrooms. But first, here's some information that applies to everybody. Report card revisions. We heard really clearly that report cards need to be revised, that we need to take a look at all the reporting standards, identify revisions to make our language more parent-friendly, but making sure that we're really reflecting grade level learning in the process and have a more unified and clear card. We are going to have fewer marks for our classroom teachers to have to put on the report card because in the areas of science, social studies, health, art, and technology literacy, we are going to give single summary grades. Reporting standards will still appear in their revised form on the report card, but we're not going to ask teachers to mark those areas, each of those standards separately. So they will still be marking more standards in math and reading, language arts areas, but the other areas will be a single summary grade with the reporting standards showing so parents know what's been taught. We also are going to return the plus and minuses to be used with OS&N for social skills and work habits. For those of you who mark report cards, it's FIA teachers, art teacher. We do have an elementary art teacher at Birch Grove. That really wasn't what I meant to say, however. FIA teachers and music teachers. If you have a need to review your reporting standards as well, and there are any revisions that you feel you need to make, let's talk because it can be done. However, those revisions have to be done before the end of June if we want them on next year's report card. The curriculum department is going to lead the revision work for the K-6 academic areas that I've just mentioned and turn them back to teachers for feedback before we submit final revisions in June. But I'd be happy to work with you on that if that's work that needs to be completed. In the area of English language arts, it's important for you to know that we are adopting a new core writing program. It's called Benchmark Writers Workshop. Steve Dunn is one of the authors of the program. Many of our teachers have been trained by Steve Dunn through our Summer Institute and other trainings that have happened in some of the buildings in the last couple of years, so there will be a little bit of familiarity for some people. We have needed a core writing program that is manageable for a long time. We've been using trophies as our core, and it was massive. And teachers, after a couple of years of trying, really said we need to do something different, but we haven't been in a position to adopt district-wide. So buildings have done a lot of different things, and they needed to fill that gap, but now this is a core program that everyone will use. We'll need to have some pretty in-depth conversations about what this means, particularly for full-service teachers and some of our Setting 3 teachers, and EL, what the role of writing instruction is, and whether the core program is what is appropriate, making sure that teachers have materials. In reading, our big request has been to have a consistent scope and sequence. Again, when we adopted trophies 8 years ago, it was our scope and sequence. However, our standards have changed. We know so much more about our students because of the data use that we are involved in and the intervention instruction that we are delivering, that we need to be thinking about our scope and sequence differently. So we're going to be bringing teams together this summer to do that work, to really clearly articulate what the needs are, the curricular expectations are for each grade level, so the teachers know what's at their grade level, what comes before, and what will follow. And finally, we have work to do around assessments in reading language arts to streamline, revise those assessments and rubrics, and really make them manageable. In math, there will be no change to our core instructional materials, but we know we need to do some work to clarify the scope and sequence and the alignment with standards. Math is different than reading language arts because our state standards are mastery standards. The result is that there is a lot of content in our math expressions core materials that isn't reflected in the grade level standards. And teachers really would like a sense of how much emphasis to place on each of those areas. They can't not teach them because they're important things for kids to learn, but they aren't a part of our standards at that grade level. They show up in later years. So we need to do that work. And as with reading, take care of streamlining and revising our assessments and our rubrics. Kindergarten, first, second, and fourth grades are each getting one new science kit. First and second are being trained right now in these new kits. Kindergarten and fourth grade will be trained in the fall. Every grade will have 3 science kits. Some grades currently have 4. They will have only 3. We've revised all the reporting standards. They've been aligned to kits, and we will be taking care of assessments in a similar way. Any gaps that still remain between standards and materials will be addressed through summer writing. We have brand new social studies standards, K through 12. Some of them are very different than what's been in the past, and some of them not so much. We've had teachers who have worked with new standards and aligned them to our materials. There are a few gaps that still need to be taken care of, but our big changes are happening in 3rd, 4th, and 6th grade. 3rd grade has standards around ancient civilizations that have never been there before. So we have a brand new unit that's been being developed to address that. 4th grade has for the last number of years, their focus has been on regions, and now their focus is more North America. And the big change comes in 6th grade. 6th grade has been teaching U.S. history for a number of years, and now 6th grade will have all of Minnesota Studies. Minnesota Studies has been spread out over a few years with the last standards. The new standards, it's all consolidated in 6th grade. And the big change that comes along with this is that rather than using a traditional textbook, there's only one to start with and they stopped publishing it. We have joined forces with other member districts of 287, and a Moodle course has been created for both teacher content, the units, the whole course actually, the whole year, and student content and learning that will be delivered through a digital learning platform. We're pretty excited about this, and it's a big step for our district to be doing this across the whole system in 6th grade. Writing teams across all grades will continue to work to make sure we've got the standards. We do have drafts of the standards, but the standards and the assessments and all the materials in place. And then finally, in the areas of art, health, and technology literacy, really what we've heard from teachers is we value all of this. We just don't have enough time in our day. So we're committed to working with them to not only review standards and assessments and make that manageable, but also to help them with instructional priorities and figure out really what the expectations are. Teachers have been very clear with us. We just want to do what's expected, but you got to tell us what's expected so we can do that. And so we are very committed to helping our classroom teachers figure out how to balance all this good learning so that we can have all of the opportunities and experiences that we all believe that our students should have, and make it manageable for our teachers. So in summary, everyone will have our new Writers Workshop core curriculum. Some grades have new science kits. Social studies standards are new, although not all different, and some grades have more change than others. And everyone will have a scope and sequence for reading and language arts. We'll be making revisions to report cards and assessments, and really working on aligning our core materials with our standards, assessments, and supplemental materials. And the last thing that we've said everyone can expect, and that includes classroom teachers and specialists alike, is the support from our team of staff development assessment specialists and all of us in the curriculum department. We are completely committed to the success of the students you work with every day and to your success. We have big work to do. We have big work to do in kindergarten through 6th grade classrooms, and I full well know that you have big work that you're doing in your classrooms as specialists as well. And our job moving forward with the staff development assessment specialists and our work as a department is to support everyone. We are committed to this work. We look forward to partnering with you, and I hope this very quick overview in my squeaky voice has been helpful. If you have any questions about this or anything else that relates to the area you work in, please, as always, don't hesitate to give me a call.